What's up YouTube, it's the Hobbyist here, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you my budget deck profile for the Zombie Horde Structure Deck. So this is the post-March already Structure Deck profile, so let's just get straight to it. First off, using 3 of the Zombie Horde Structure Decks, we'll be playing 3 Red Eye Zombie Necro Dragon. This will be our synchro monster. Unfortunately, there's not much extra deck monsters to play in this deck, so yeah, this is a number that we'll be playing. Next we'll be, actually let's just set this aside, apologies for that. Next we'll be playing our boss monster Doom King Balderok, 3 copies of those. Then we'll be having 3 copies of Necro World Banshee, 3 copies of Glow Up Bloom. By the way, I'm using the unicorn sleeves right now, and they're pretty good quality. A little bit on the cutting is not the best on the top, but at least it's consistent across all of them. Like you can see a little bit of the transparent film, but apart from that, the shine you can see is pretty clear. So yeah. Anyway, 3 copies of Shiranui Solitaire, 3 copies of Uni Zombie or Uni Zombie, 3 copies of Gozuki, 3 copies of Mezuki, then 1 copy of Tatsu Necro. This is because our deck is actually centered around summoning Doom King Balderok, and Red Eye Zombie Necro Dragon is actually one of the sub-boss monsters that we'll be having. So that's why we only want to play 1 of it, because a win condition actually comes from Doom King. Next we'll be playing 1 copy of Zombie Master. Zombie Master is kind of like a toned down version of Monster Reborn. So yeah, it just lets us bring back our zombie monsters. Then for our spells, we'll be playing 1 copy of Foolish Burial, send 1 monster deck to the graveyard. This is fairly straightforward. Then we'll be having 2 Book of Life right here. So this again, it's almost like a Monster Reborn. Target 1 zombie in your graveyard and 1 monster in your opponent's graveyard. Special summon the first target and banish the second target. Whoa, so this is a pretty intense effect. Next we'll be playing 3 copies of Zombie World. This is actually where our deck is centered around. You need this field spell on your deck. Then we have Burial from a Different Dimension, 2 copies of this. The reason why we are playing 2 copies is because after testing this deck for a while, I realized that there's a lot of deck profiles that banish your monsters. So this apart from if you face these kind of encounters where your monsters get banished, this spell card will save you. Then we have 2 copies of Shared Card. For the rest of the turn, each time a card is added from the main deck or graveyard to your opponent's hand, except by drawing them, you can immediately draw 1 card. So this is actually a pretty good card since most deck profiles come with searching functions. Then we'll be playing 2 copies of Metaverse. The reason why we are not playing 3 copies is because you already have 3 copies of Zombie World. So when you do the deck searching, it will come out. It'll come up fairly often, and you don't want to overplay Metaverse because once you run out of your Zombie Worlds, like you have 2 in your hand, and then you end up having a dead card. Next, we'll be having 2 copies of Anti-Spell Fragrance. This is a fairly good card when it comes to jamming your opponents. So both players must set spell cards before activating them. Just 2 copies of that because, you know, a lot of effects right now is a lot of decks are based off monster effects. Then finally we'll be having 3 copies of the Needlebug Nest. Send the top 5 cards from your deck to the graveyard. So anyway, that's about it for this video. Like and comment what you think, how you're doing with this deck profile. Do you love zombies? Do you hate zombies? Well, just let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video.